So, on my second channel, I've been playing the Parasite Eve franchise, and it's been an interesting experience. Mrs. Noose Bomb, what about your medication? It's no use of me, I'm dead. Fucking Noose Bomb. I've never gotten around to beating these games, but thanks to emulation, mainly cheats, I can do that. I have to say that Parasite Eve is a true classic, even if it has aged like milk in a lot of aspects. Truth to be told, I was actually more excited to complete Parasite Eve 2 afterwards. When I completed the game, I honestly was left with the feeling that I enjoyed it way more than the first game. After doing some quick searching online, though, I found out a lot of people are really mixed on the game. I can certainly see why, but I think there's a lot of things that are improvements. The overall concept of the game gripped me more than the first, with the formation of the Mist unit. Now you basically act like a government agent assigned to fight mutated monstrosities. It feels like it took a bit of the original and combined it with Ghost in the Shell or something like that, and I like it a lot. Because the government is more involved in this game, it opens itself up to a wider scale. Now you're visiting different parts of the world and dealing with things like betrayal, cover ups, and backroom politics. It feels more complex than the first game. It goes into a lot of unexpected areas, whereas the first game I felt like things were pretty predictable. The areas you visit in this game I liked a lot more as well. The Arcopolis Tower is a great opening segment, and when you walk into the building and you see a bunch of dead SWAT members on the ground, it always sends chills up my spine. The atmosphere is so menacing and tense, especially paired with the fantastic soundtrack of this game. The other area that really wowed me was the dry fields in the Mojave Desert. This isn't a very typical type of environment for a horror title. Somehow it ends up working really well, and I found myself creeped out by its ghost town feeling. There's something really creepy about an abandoned town during the daytime. It's helped by the fact that it has some of the freakiest creature designs in the game with the camel. It has these piercing red eyes and a human face that just gets under my skin. There's also a lot more body horror in this game, I think. Not saying the first game had bad creature designs by any means, but I like the designs overall more here. The Arcopolis section has these weird xenomorph looking creatures that are pretty neat. Of course, we can't forget about the elusive number 9 and the golems. I love number Nine's design, especially at the beginning of the game when he has that mask on. I think he adds a lot of personality to Parasite Eve too. In contrast, Eve is a fairly bland and stereotypical misanthropic villain, while number 9 is just playing around, and he's far more intimidating in my opinion. My favorite design overall would have to be the burner boss in this game. I don't know if Nomura was behind the creature designs in this game, but this is easily one of the coolest looking bosses of all time, and one of the best moments in the game. Some of them, though, look a bit derpy. Overall, I think they're great, though. Not everything about this game is fantastic, though. There are a lot of things that I can see people hating. Though I do like the areas overall, they have a lot of problems with them. There's a certain point where you start to get familiar with them, and they become a bit of a chore to move around in. Also, because there aren't very many areas in the game, they tend to overstay their welcome a lot. Pacing isn't something that this game excels at. I was expecting more areas, but after Dryfield, it's off to the final area. That's considerably less than the first game. It also doesn't help that the final area kinda sucks. It's like a knockoff of one of the final areas in a Resident Evil game. It honestly feels like it never ends, which is a trade off for having so few environments. There's also a heaping amount of backtracking, and boy, it is bad. The whole ending segment in general feels rushed. Like so much of the plot ends up dropping on your head at the last second, and you don't have any time to take it in. So many things just seemed strange. I feel like the story would have been better if it just kept it more simple, like them just hunting down monsters. But hey, it's Square Enix we're talking about here. That's really my biggest complaints with the game in general. I guess most of the reasons I like this game come down to more superficial aspects, but I don't really come to Parasite Eve for substance. Its style is really what makes it stick out the most in this game, and it separates it from other titles. I don't find either of the stories to be terrible, but they're pretty far from being Shakespeare. Some people seem to think that Parasite Eve 1 is perfect, but go back and play it today. It's also a pretty flawed game at the end of the day. Its story is riddled with drawn out, boring exposition dumps and one dimensional characters. The gameplay is painfully slow at times, and some of the areas are poorly designed. They're both kind of rough within their own right, but I think people are unfair to two in a lot of ways.